disciples on the sea, very experienced fishermen, I might add, who know the sea, who have experienced storms, and ask them, why are you so afraid? That's because it seems like kind of an obvious question, because really these men have dealt with storms before. This was not like all the other storms. This storm was severe, so much so it says that the boat was filling. They were bailing, but not at the same rate the boat was filling. We know typically what happens when your boat is filling faster than you can bail. There's a threat of drowning in this kind of a sea, so that there is a definite fear of death here. And Jesus is asking, why are you afraid? I don't think there's a person in here who would be petrified in that moment, right? And yet Jesus is saying, why are you so afraid? And so we need a few things from this episode that I want to see what Jesus is trying to get at by asking these questions. Why are you so afraid? Where is your faith? And the first thing, we're going to just notice some things. These are tests that Jesus is giving his disciples in the midst of the storm. That Jesus, if you think of the storm that you might have been going through, or are going through, or will be going through, wherever that storm is, you might want to take note of these particular things that Jesus is doing. Because they're not going to be unlike what will happen to you. Here's one thing we notice. Here's what we noticed. And I always like to look at what isn't happening first. First of all, Jesus could have prevented the storm from even occurring in the first place. All agreed? If he created heaven and earth, right? Knows the stars by name. He could have said, peace be still, before they even got in the boat, right? So there's no point. This storm didn't even happen. But Jesus doesn't stop the storm. Because Jesus knows without the storm, the disciples will never learn to set their mind on things above rather than on earthly things. Because that's the point of the storm. He's trying to get their eyes off of what's earthly. And sometimes the way God has to draw us out of our fear is by sending us into what we're afraid of. He's sending them in. We like to think that the love and presence of God means the end of our troubles. But what we find is that the troubles only serve to help us see what we really love in this life. And it's generally what is earthly in this life. And draw us into a deeper love for what is above, and that is the love of God. And knowing his presence. And that's what Jesus is doing first and foremost, by not removing the storm in the first place, but by allowing the storm. Here's the second thing we note in it. Jesus didn't ride with them into the storm wide awake. Reminding them along the way, hey, there's a storm coming, guys. Fear not, I'm with you. Didn't do that. He goes to sleep. Jesus is asleep on a cushion. Don't have a clue in a boat filling with water how you sleep. But Jesus was sleeping, okay? I don't know, but he was. Jesus didn't have to tell them, fear not, I am with you, because he was with them. He was with them. Even while he was sleeping, God was with them, because Jesus is God. So why are they panicking? Well, here's the thing. The fact that Jesus is sound asleep in the storm should have really kind of told them something. Like, for instance, when I grew up out on a hill by East Central College, the top of the hill, you go to the top of the hill, first house on the left, that was our house. It's where we moved. So you can go out, you can almost see out the bay window, you could see, back in that day, you could see the City Union, and you could see the storm coming in. And so, I grew up knowing what I'd gone through tornado drills at school, knowing what you got to find up basement. You have a basement, you got to get a bathtub. I always wondered what if you don't have a bathtub. I asked that question, I got detention for that. But I knew the protocol, and I knew when the storm was coming in, I'd be playing in my room, and my room would get dark, and I'd look outside, and the wind's blowing, and I'd see the storm coming in. I remember, what should I do? We should probably go to the basement. And I would walk down to my room, and there was my dad, sitting in his chair, looking out the window, reading his book. Dad's not going to the basement. Everything must be okay. the disciples should have seen Jesus asleep in the midst of the storm and thought, he's asleep, everything must be okay. If God's sleeping through this, let's go to bed, guys. And it's a really interesting point because sleep is always a good tip-off, which I mentioned earlier. It's always a good tip-off to what's got our minds. Because in the Psalms, especially if you get to like Psalm chapter 3, where David is deathly afraid, turns and cries out to God, and then it says, I lay down and went to sleep. There is something about fear that keeps us from the very thing we need in our life, and that is rest and sleep. Jesus sleeping through the storm should have told the disciples, he's not panicking, we don't need to panic. And we forget too that Jesus is always with us in every fear-provoking moment you've got. Whether we think he's there or not, even if he's sleeping, God is with you. Here's the third thing that I know from this episode. Jesus calmed the storm, then he asked the question, why were you afraid? That's an interesting note. He didn't come up to him and says, why are you so afraid? Peace be still. You don't get that with Jesus. Jesus wakes up, it says he arose, calms the storm, then he goes to the man. Why are you so afraid? Interesting order to that. What's that tell us? Well, first of all, it shows us what fear is really designed for. So you've got an automobile, and most of you have a fuel gauge. It tells you how much fuel you have in your car. Fear is like the fuel gauge on your car's dashboard. Because fear tells you how much faith in God is in your tank. That's what fear does. It tells you how much faith in God is in your tank. So, what is the level of your faith in God? Is it full tank, quarter, 3/4, half tank, 5 miles to empty? Where's the faith in your tank? Well, for the disciples, it was revealing a very low tank of faith in God. That's what was happening, and that's what the storm was designed to do, and that's why Jesus, rather than rebuking them, rebukes the storm and questions them. Because he wants them to see where their faith is. Why were you so afraid? Where is your faith? Or what level is your faith at? And for Peter, this would not be the last time his faith tank was being checked in his life. We did a little case study on Peter. I think he's an easy person to do a case study on. That's why we enjoy studying Peter so much. But you know Peter. And in Matthew 26, Jesus is saying, listen, I'm going to be rejected, I'm going to be slain, and in that process, you all are going to fall away and scatter, and you're going to deny me. And Peter steps up and he says, even if I must die with you, Jesus, I will not deny you. Right out of his mouth, words out of his mouth, verbatim. And what did he do right at the trial of Jesus? 3 times, not once, 3 times he denies him to a servant girl. Denies Jesus. Don't know. I don't know. I don't know who it is. 3 times. So what happened to Peter that made him do what he swore he would never do? Tell you what happened to Peter. Fear happened to Peter. Fear. It's real. Fear is real. Why was Peter so afraid? Peter was looking at the wrong thing. Peter he thought he knew where this thing was going. He knew what Jesus was doing. He knew what was going on. You're not going to die. You're going to be rejected. Die, Peter. You're going to be crazy. That's not going to happen. No, you're going to reign. You said you came to reign. You came to conquer. This is your kingdom. Rome's going down. We're coming up. I'm on your side. Maybe first, second place. I'm looking for, we're in. Peter was he was totally looking at the wrong thing. And I think a lot of our fear results from when we look at the wrong thing And I'll tell you specifically, it's when we start speculating, which is what Peter was doing. Peter was speculating. And we do it two ways. We either speculate the worst or we speculate the best. And neither one are reality. But we start speculating things. We start playing out. You know what speculating is? I play out earthly scenarios, things that aren't happening, I don't know are going to happen, but I'm God, and I'm going to play those things out in my head. And a lot of times we just play out the worst. And I can remember one time when I tell you, I got lots of examples on fear, okay? They're all coming out right now. I remember one time, 9 o'clock, Brian and Leanna left. They went to, I think they were taking Taylor home one night, and they got in the car at 9 o'clock, and they were 9:15. I knew they'd be back about 9:30. Had it all timed out. 9:30 came, they weren't in. The problem I usually give them 15 minutes. 9:45, they're not home. I'm just going to call, get that point, I call, goes immediately to Brian's voicemail. I don't remember Leanna, I call Leanna, nothing. So I call Taylor, nothing. I call, no, I said, it's 10 o'clock, they're not home. 10:15, they're not home. Okay, guess where I'm at that point? I'm bailing. In fear. I've got everything figured out. I'm about in the car going to look for them somewhere along BB or Highway A on the side of the road with their car wrapped around a tree. Wait, this is what was in my head. I mean, my heart's racing. I've got this played out. The worst, here they come. Down the driveway. 10:20. Where were you? Just like the disciples asking Jesus, don't you care that I've been sitting here on the phone worried for you? It's like, Jesus, don't you see the disciples? Don't you care we're going to drown in here? This is exactly what it was going through my head. It's like, well, my battery died, Brian said. Leanna, I don't think she took her phone. Taylor didn't have her phone with her. And we got to talking, and it got late. Oh. I watched my fear tank. Yeah, you know how you turn the ignition on to see where your gas level is, and you turn it on and it never moves. It just stays on E. That's where my fear tank was that night. And some of us, we don't play out the worst, we play out the best. We get these expectations set up in our lives. Like the time I remember I was outside playing ball, throwing the ball against the wall. I think I was 15. Throwing the ball, playing shortstop, and it like dawned on me. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. It hit me. I am not good enough to be in major leagues. I am not going to be. I had this. You know, your life you grew up. I love baseball. I played all the time by myself. I had no siblings. I played by myself. I was the best player on my team. Man, I just had it figured out. I was going to play. I was about 6 foot, about 125, and I was a catcher. And I realized I'm not bulking up anymore. I'm not going to be in the major leagues catching. It's just not going to happen. And it was like, it hit me like this. It's like, I got to get a real job. The fear, it was a literal fear. I remember the day that. It's a fear. Fear of what the expectation. That's what Peter was doing. He had been playing out in his head what was really going to happen in his mind with Jesus. And when everything Jesus said started coming true and started happening, Peter's faith tank went to reveal where it really was. Now, fast forward about 2-3 months later in Peter's life. Jesus dies. He's resurrected. Peter sees him. Peter touches him. Jesus affirms him. Peter watches him ascend into heaven. Peter is there when the Holy Spirit comes on him. And then in Acts chapter 4, Peter is brought before the religious leaders, same guys who crucified Jesus, same guys he cowered to, and he stands before them, and they begin to call him and question him. And it says they charged Peter and James them not to speak or to teach at all in Jesus' name. And Peter and John answered him whether it is right in the sight of God to listen to you rather in the sight of God to listen to you rather than God. You must be judged, for we can't help but speak of what we've seen and heard. What happened to Peter? Where did this fearlessness come from in Peter? I'll tell you what happened to Peter. Faith happened to Peter. Faith happened to Peter. Same thing that happened to Elisha's servant in 2 Kings 6. When Elisha is surrounded by the army of Syria, they're amassed around the city of Dothan, and there's a huge army about to take his life, and Elisha's servant walks out the door, and he sees this army around him, and he says, "Alas, my master, what are we going to do?" That's exactly what he said. What are we going to do? And 2 Kings 6, verse 16, Elisha says, "Don't be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." Those who are with us? What's he talking about? Those who are with us, those who are with us. It's just me and you, Elisha. What's going on here? And Elisha prayed and said, "Lord, please open his eyes that he may see." And the Lord opened his eyes, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Bam! What happened to Elisha's servant? Same thing that happened to Peter. Faith happened. The eyes of their hearts were no longer looking at the wrong thing. They were no longer fearing the things. They were no longer fearing the things that were most dangerous to them. They weren't afraid of those lesser dangers. They saw what was reality. That God was there. God was far bigger than what they were afraid of at that moment. I want to share with you as I close this morning, and the worship team will be coming up here in just a minute to close us in a song of response to this. You need to respond to the fears because it's real. It's very real. I know that in a lot of your lives you're afraid of what's going to happen or what could happen. But I want you to see something in both of the stories of Elisha's servant and in Peter. There's something, God provided something for those guys that he has provided for you. And if you miss it, you miss the hope that you have with regard to fear. And I want you to see one of the keys here to this whole thing is that God provides Elisha's servant with a man in his life who had the eyes of faith to pray for him. Because Elisha's servant couldn't see what Elisha knew, but Elisha prayed, "Oh Lord, open his eyes that he may see." And in that intercession, God answered that prayer, and he saw. And do you know there was someone in Peter's life who prayed for Peter? Jesus Christ, in Luke chapter 22, told Peter, "Peter, Satan has asked to sift you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Peter, that your faith may not fail." It's like Jesus says, "I know where your tank is." When you're afraid and you're like trying to hide it and you're trying to make it like you've got courage and you're this lion, but deep down you're like this lamb, and but you're trying to fake like you're not afraid, that is just so bad. Sees right through that. Satan loves that. But to quit being fake, just say, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of losing. I'm afraid of change. I'm afraid of the future. I am afraid of man. I am afraid of death. Just acknowledge it. Just say it. Because it's in that moment that there is an intercessor waiting to hear you admit that so that he can pray for you too. Jesus is saying, "I pray for you that your faith may not fail." That Jesus, he just wanted to take that gauge and just raise that gauge to full. And he's just filling us with faith. And you begin to see it. This doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. Faith is something we grow into. It's something that's constantly changing in us. But you'll notice it because things that used to paralyze you are starting to lose their power in your life. Little by little. I mean, you used to just like, I can't listen to that, I can't read that, I can't watch that kind of stuff, I can't do that. And all of a sudden, it starts changing. Wait, you know what? I'm starting to see that there's something bigger here. And listen, when you're in fear, have you forgotten that Jesus is praying for you? Romans chapter 8, verse 34, 35. Who is to condemn? Who is to condemn? Christ Jesus is the one who died. More than that, who was raised, who's at the right hand of God, who's indeed interceding. There it is. He's praying for you. Who shall separate you from the love of Christ? Shall trouble, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, danger, sword, storm? No. They're coming. They're gonna happen, but no. In all these things, we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. And that's the key. Just like in my roller coaster incident. What helped me get over my fear of roller coasters? A greater fear. A fear of not looking bad. A fear, not a good fear. Let me just give the illustration here. But it was a greater love. A love for someone that I was willing to put aside my fear and go with. And see, in life, when you're afraid of whatever it is that you're afraid of, and you begin to see, wait a second, there's a greater love. There's a greater love. Who is to condemn you? Christ Jesus, He died for you. He died for you. Do you know what that means? That means He absorbed the destruction your soul and body in hell should receive from the sin in your life. But He died for that. He took it. It's finished. But more than that, He was raised. He was raised to life. Why? So you can be raised. And if you've been raised with Christ, Paul says, set your mind on things that are above. See, He's giving you, just pray, God, let me set my mind on things above. Keep my eyes off the earth. Keep my eyes off man. Keep my eyes off their opinions. Keep my eyes off death. Keep my eyes off the unknown, God. And help me see that you are at the right hand of God praying for me, that my faith won't fail. Isn't that anything? What else do we need? Why are we so afraid? Jesus is interceding for us. He's praying our faith won't fail. He's just looking for us to go to Him in agreement. I'm afraid. Help my fear. Make me fearless. And if you're willing to pray that prayer, sometimes that means being sent right into the very thing that you're afraid of. And watching God begin to absorb that fear, because you're seeing, there's a far more dangerous fear that has been absorbed for me, and that was at the cross when Jesus Christ gave up Himself and destroyed Himself so that I wouldn't be destroyed in hell. John tells us there is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear. Fear has to do with punishment. Fear has to do with condemnation. Fear has to do with destruction. And whoever fears has not been perfected in love. Guys, would you come on up, worship team? Back to the storm real quick. When Jesus spoke and calmed the sea, the eyes of the disciples' fear were overcome with new eyesight. They got new eyesight. Some of you have had cataract surgery. You know what the difference is after a while. New eyes. Some of us need cataract surgery on our fears. We're looking at the wrong thing, and we need God to give us new eyes to see, eyes of faith. That's what happened to the disciples, because in Mark 4:41, it says that after Jesus calmed the storm, it says they were filled with great fear. Before they were just afraid. Now they're filled with great fear. Great fear. Both words come from the same original word, phobos, which is the word we get phobia from. Fear. Both words. Great fear. They're there together. It's like a duplication. Same word repeated. Why is they doing that? It's for emphasis. They're trying to tell you that before they had fear, but now they got fear. Before they were scared, they were drowning, but now they're scared. Before they were terrified, now they are terrifyingly terrified. Why? Because they experienced a greater fear and a greater love. The love of Jesus, the one that showed them, listen, I calm this storm now, but I'm going to calm the greatest storm in your life. The storm of my Father's wrath, when my blood change your life radically, save you from eternal hell and damnation, but even more than that, it save you from fear, from just the misery of this life of fear that you might be in. Come on forward this morning. I will be right here, and I would love to talk with you or pray with you. Jeff Hart is here. He would love to talk with you and pray with you, and anyone else. Just come and see. But let's respond in prayer. Why don't you stand up this morning?